The Sunday Baroque podcast is made possible by WSHU and the Friends of Sunday Baroque. You can find out more about the Friends of Sunday Baroque and find out how to become one yourself by visiting our website, sundaybaroque.org, under the Contact tab.
Brandyn Lewis is a professional double bass player. It is the largest and lowest pitched bowed string instrument in the modern symphony orchestra. And Brandyn Lewis has played in orchestras led by acclaimed conductors such as Kent Nagano and Suzanne Michael Tilson Thomas, and many others. The Montreal Conservatory graduate is an interim member of the Montreal Symphony Orchestra, and he is speaking with me on Zoom about his life as a professional musician. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great. So first things first, how are you doing during the pandemic?
Well, for sure at the start of the pandemic, it was a little tough not being able to work. Rehearsals, concerts, everything was canceled. I will say that it was good for my mental health and my body physically to have that rest, especially performing a lot every single week. Although a part of me missed playing with my colleagues and just making music with other people.
Yeah. Have you been doing any of the pandemic, Zoom kinds of things with other people?
Yeah, actually, a couple pianists I went to the conservatoire with got in touch with me to play one of Bach's double piano concertos.
Oh.
And that was nice. That was back in April of last year, and they sent me the piano parts, and I played the bass part along with it, and it was the result was pretty cool.
Wow. So you started playing double bass as an 11-year-old. Was that your first instrument, and was that your first musical training?
No. So my first instrument really was the drum set when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
As a 5-year-old banging away on drums, that was life. That was heaven.
Wow. That's a good leap of faith for parents to give their 5-year-old drums.
Oh yeah. I think my parents regretted it immediately after all the noise that I was making. But I think they saw that
How'd you end up making your way to double bass?
Yeah, so I went to faith school, and in grade 4, they make us try the different family of instruments. So strings, clarinet, flute, and trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on which one you rank best at, they would place you in that department. So I was put into the strings department on cello.
Oh.
And so I played cello for several months, and my music teacher at the time, and so this is in grade 5 now, she asked me if I wanted to play double bass or percussion. And at the time, 11 years old, I said, I think I've had enough of percussion. I think I've exceeded all the limitations. So I just chose double bass without really knowing what it was.
Wow. So this is going to seem like maybe kind of a silly question, but it's a very big instrument. And were you a tall child, or how does that work?
I mean, I think I was quite tall for my age, I would say. And I guess, playing the double bass, and they make different sizes, of course, but you need a large hand to kind of be able to hold it and play the positions. So it was quite daunting at first, but over time, I think I got used to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would say transporting it was the biggest challenge, though.
Oh, yes. That's a big commitment. It's like someone plays the harp, it's a commitment for the parents to have a big enough vehicle to do that. Did your parents have to buy a different vehicle?
No, we had at the time, I think my mom had a Toyota Tercel with the backs that folded down. So it was quite challenging to get it in there.
So you mentioned Face School, and you're a Canadian musician. You grew up in Montreal. I'm wondering if music was a key part of your school experience then, or was it also an extracurricular activity?
Oh, at Face School, music is like an integral part of the curriculum. Really from grade one all the way through grade 11, when we graduate, we have to take music classes. Not only instrument classes, but there's also choir, there's drama, there's visual arts. So I think the arts in general was very important for the school.
Mhm. Do you want to give a little thumbnail sketch of what Face School is?
All right. Well, Face School is an alternative school. It really they have a really fantastic curriculum there. Um, they the teachers there are fantastic. The administration, I spent my whole schooling from kindergarten to grade 11 in that one building, in that one school. And I graduated with kids with friends I made since kindergarten, so it's kind of like a second family, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, like through the music program, I was able to go on different trips to France and Italy, and make lasting friendships. And of course, I think it was a really good school, really amazing school.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been playing with the Montreal Symphony Orchestra as a regular substitute, and now you are an interim section player. So first of all, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And second of all, so what does that mean that you're an interim section player?
So what that means is I was offered a contract, a 1-year contract, and so that means that I have the wonderful opportunity of playing all of the concerts. I work as a regular member would work in the orchestra, although because of the contract, I don't have a permanent post. So that's where the difference comes in.
I see. I see. And what's the status with the pandemic and whatnot? What's the orchestra doing now? Are you playing at all? Are you doing any virtual concerts or small scale concerts with people?
So at the beginning of the season in September, the Quebec government had allowed for, I think it was up to 250 people in the hall. And so we were super excited to be able to perform and still get to work for an audience. But as the pandemic progressed and the number of cases increased, everything was shut down, so no public, and everything that we've been doing has been virtual. So virtual concerts. We've been rehearsing live in the hall with the social distancing rules, of course, and the orchestra has been reduced, about half its size. But despite that, it's been great being able to work and perform music and give the audience something to look forward to and music to appreciate while being confined at home.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I see that in addition to being a performer, you've also taught music to elementary school kids, and that was part of Montreal's El Sistema program. Could you talk a little bit about your experience as a music teacher, and especially in an El Sistema model, so that listeners kind of understand what that's about?
Yeah, for sure. So my music teacher, Theodoros Totopoulos, she's a really fantastic teacher. She modeled this program based on the El Sistema program. And really, I was teaching cello in Ganawage, which is a First Nations reserve just outside of Montreal. And so we were the goal is to provide music lessons to communities that might not have those resources on their own. And I was teaching there. I think I started teaching around 2012 or 13 for a number of years. And within the first 4 years, the level of playing from these kids, it increased tremendously. Like towards the end, kids were they were coming back the next day or the next week saying, Brandon, let me show you what I learned. And, they were going on YouTube and learning their favorite pop songs and showing me it. It was fantastic to see.
Wow, that's very gratifying. Had you taught before that?
I hadn't really taught before that. That was my first teaching gig, if you want to call it. And I was a little bit nervous teaching. I never considered myself a teacher. I never thought I would go into it. But I think it was really, really nice to give back to the community, to provide the younger generation with the tools to succeed in music. And I think it was important to give back.
Yeah, yeah. So Montreal Symphony Orchestra has a new music director coming on board soon. The Venezuelan conductor Rafael Payare is going to become the orchestra's 9th music director, beginning, I guess, next season. And, Maestro Payare himself is a product of El Sistema training. What are you looking forward to for his tenure with the orchestra?
Well, for sure. It'd be interesting to see in which direction he can take the orchestra, both on a national level, but international as well. How he can, it'd be great to see some sort of education programs coming out of his tenure, because he is connected with El Sistema, and music education is super important to him. Mm-hmm. I think just we've had a couple concerts with him already, and just his love for the music is just it's insane. Like his musical expression is just so powerful. His energy is incredible. He has so much to say. You can tell food is important to him, because everything he talks about is related to food. Like in a passage, he's like, oh, no, that's too much. It's like putting truffle everywhere. It's expensive, but you can't put it everywhere. You gotta choose your moments.
Good metaphors.
So yeah, I think everyone's excited to have him come on full time. I know the musicians and the administration are very happy with their choice.
Great. Well, that's very exciting to look forward to. So, and this is kind of how I found you too. In January of 2021, Montreal Gazette ran an article about you, and it was a great article. And the headline read, "The Montreal Symphony Orchestra's only Black musician hopes to show kids they can foster a love for classical music." And, that headline alone opens up some important and very timely questions. So first of all, I guess this is really a rhetorical question, I think, but, how can it be that in the year 2021, there's only one Black musician in a major symphony orchestra? So that's heartache right there. But you're also very, your positive spin on that is the role model that you want to be. And so I would love for you to talk a little bit about what that experience is like, and also, what do you see as what else will you want to do to be that role model?
Yeah. And I just want to first say that it's at no fault of these institutions that why there aren't more Black musicians. I know that there are throughout Canada, there are, a good number of Black musicians in each orchestra. But I think that the problem starts with the lack of interest in classical music by the Black community. Not being able to see a positive, a role model, that someone who looks like them in the field, to say, oh, you know what, I want to be like that person when I grow older, and see that it's possible. I heard a story of this young Black girl who wanted to play violin, but she never pursued it because she didn't think she was allowed to. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because classical music has been more Eurocentric, and my role, I want to be a role model for young kids to see that it is possible that there are a lot of great things that come from playing classical music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, building a really tight community of friends and networking, travel opportunities, musical expression. That's why I got into it at the beginning. I was a little bit of a emotional kid, I guess, and music helped me to hone that energy and emotion into something positive and creative.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
So, how do you think? I mean, the institution of classical music broadly, is not known for its diversity and inclusion. So how do you think those of us who love classical music, what else can we do? I mean, you are the role model, you're living it. What other things would you like to see other people do to help foster that, make some helpful or necessary steps to change that dynamic in a meaningful way?
Well, my idea would be to start a music program that goes into these minority communities and gives music lessons, kind of like an El Sistema type program, to to really truly bring kids and really take them by the hand and say, come with me, let's show you this wonderful world, this wonderful place. Um, because I know in the States, there are a lot of music programs that do such, that have a mission such as that, correctly. And I think that's something that's lacking in Canada overall. Um, and so, yeah, I think that if let's say I get some colleagues or some people that are interested to start a program, I think that's a good first step into making positive changes, into having more diversity in classical music.
Right. Good thoughts. So you've landed this great gig with a world-class orchestra, and you play chamber music with top-notch musicians. You have these thoughts about maybe, programs for kids. But what else is on your wish list as a musician?
Well, I think I want to be versatile as well. I would like to venture out into other styles of music, and perhaps I have an electric bass here, and I want to get into maybe some gospel playing, some Motown. Um, right now, I'm working on an arrangement of an R&B song that I would like to perform. So doing other things like that. Um, uh, I still do some teaching as well, and I think, yeah, it's now is a good time for musicians to kind of redefine what we do. Now that we have time to reflect on what's important, um, I think I'm still putting pieces together, but I think just being more being more out there, I guess, more having more exposure, doing more projects, I think is going to be helpful into uh, pushing my career forward.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's just delightful to see your many accomplishments already, and look forward to seeing what else you're up to. I have been speaking on Zoom with Brandyn Lewis. He is the Canadian musician who is a section double bass player in the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. Thank you very much for a great conversation, and all the best to you in your musical career.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.